In this lessons episode, we delve into the importance of personal accountability in mastering time management and achieving sales success. You'll discover effective strategies for prioritizing tasks, setting boundaries, and staying accountable. The episode emphasizes the value of mastering these skills to achieve optimal results and live your life like a CEO. What tips going into, let's call it sales, because it is sales. How did you learn how to do that? With an HR and an electrical engineering background, you had no sales experience. Well, you did, I guess, in HR a little bit because you're brokering deals there. But how'd you manage that? How'd you learn?
So what I learned, and quite honestly, so my mom was 17 when she had me, right? And my mom was a tremendously successful businesswoman. And an incredible parent and everything else, but also a great teacher. So I learned from my mom, and this is really where it came from, but then with the people around me, is that it's the incremental part that comes with discipline that is the win, right? Mm-hmm. It's doing those little things over and over and over again that are going to make it work for you. And so what I learned, quite honestly, was like, I'm a time block king. I mean, like, I am a time block guy. So I think a key to anybody in sales, if you want to go into sales, you have to just consume everything you can about the mindset around time blocking. The philosophies, what works for you, get really good at it. Time blocking is an incredible concept and a mindset that you have to have if you're going to do sales, period.
The concept is, in my opinion, very important, but I've never heard somebody speak to it as the precursor to the success in sales. Is it just so there's so much stuff happening and you just have to block it out so that you are just more efficient, and without that you wouldn't get stuff done? I'm curious.
Yeah, no, the way I look at it is, so it goes back to the only thing you have as a salesperson to sell is your time.
Yeah.
Forget the product, forget the service, forget anything else, right? Really what you're doing is you're selling your time. And so if you're not sacred about your time, you've already lost. And so that's the way I looked at it, was like, if someone was willing to steal my time or to try and take my time away, they're taking food off the table for my family. And I got seriously sacred about my time. And, and that's the way I looked at it. And that just caused me to line up everything else, right? Who was I going to spend my time with? What deals was I going to go after? What was I going to say no to? At the end of the day, could I honestly measure how I did? Absolutely, because I could look at that time. So everything fell around the time. And if you are in sales, don't look at it like you're trying to sell the product, because that's not really what you're selling. Really what you're selling is, where are you putting your time in order to make that thing happen?
Yeah, that's a damn good. It makes a ton of sense, because said differently, if you're in sales and you're not qualifying out, if you're not saying no to people that aren't a good fit, if you don't have a process for that, or you don't even know what good looks like, you're chasing everything, because there's no shortage of deals out there. But like you said, there's a shortage of time. And actually, the most effective sales reps say no more than they say yes to demos, to meetings, to calls. And like, it's honestly even worse in a post-COVID world where everything is like an hour-long Zoom call for no reason, right? And that can, like, you can do a deal over maybe an hour and a half Zoom call, or a smaller deal could take you 5-10 hours. Yep. If you get the wrong customer for whatever reason. And they're just back and forth and hemming and hawing and negotiating. And that happens sometimes. And you just lose like days of your life chasing the wrong customer.
Oh, yeah. In real estate, especially, and I know it's in other environments too, but, people will come with you and they'll shake money at you, right? And they'll say, "Hey, listen, go find me a deal. I need to place $1 million, right?" And so you're like, "Man, 3 to 6% of $1 million, man, I need to go do that, right?" But really what they're doing is they're just bird dogging you. They've got 6 or 7 other people going out looking for deals. And if you don't take care of your time, you could have only bird dog clients. And guess what? You're going to go more than broke. You're going to go bankrupt. That's no joke.
So how do you deal with that? What's a lesson that you learned in real estate on how to find where to spend your time? And is it something that we could easily take into other environments so that people can figure out where to not waste time?
Yeah, that's super good, because I do, because now I'm in coaching, right? So I'm doing the same thing. I'm selling my time, But with that being said, is I got to, like you said, qualify what those opportunities are like. So anyone that is in a sales role or growing a business and trying to figure out how to pick up clients and customers, those kind of things, the first thing you have to ask, or you have to do, is you have to be a really good listener. You have to listen for the cues of what people are telling you. First thing you need to know, if it sounds too good to be true and you don't have to really work hard to make it happen, guess what?
It's too good to be true.
There's no there.
Yeah.
There isn't. Yeah. And that's the first thing. That's the first thing you qualify. If it sounds too good and it's too easy, it's not. It never. Those things don't happen. You're going to hit singles a lot more than you're going to hit those home runs. So look for the singles always. What are the deals that I can get done that I know that are real, that can make it happen, and get rid of that swinging for the fences mentality.
I guess my question, the CEO for life. I love the analogy that you have to run your life like a CEO. So how do we solve for that? How do we remove the work life and the personal life? Because there's things that I'm sure, like, this is ingrained in people. Like, they have to act one way at work and they act differently at home. So what are like the actionable steps that you can start doing, or is it just a matter of finding the right organization that also recognizes that they want a certain authenticity in who they hire? How do you fix that?
That's a great conversation. It's a super conversation. So the first thing is you have to work your roadmap to make sure that your life and your work, who you are, maps to what a CEO is, right? Do you have first thing you got to know is, do you have some level of self-awareness? Listen, if you're a dick, it ain't going to work no matter what you do, right? I mean, or if you're a bad person, or, whatever label you want to call it in terms of being a jerk or working difficult with people, you have to have some level of self-awareness. Once you have some self-awareness, from there you can decide, okay, well, what is the vision for my life? And what I tell people is, their vision is never big enough. When I sit down with clients and I talk to them, tell me about your vision for your life. It's never big enough. It's never big enough. It's always, well, this year I want to do this, or, we're looking to buy this house, or, we're, I want my kids to college. Well, what I talk about in the book is dream generationally. A CEO measures in a year or a quarter, but when they look at casting vision for the company, they're thinking 5 years, 10 years, 30 years. Where are we going to turn this ship and take it to? Elon Musk is looking at Mars. He's not just thinking about trying to get this thing to go up and then come back down, right? I mean, so dreaming generationally is super important. So self-awareness and making sure you have a big dream. And then from there, you can begin to put your roadmap together. Okay, so what are the goals that are going to get you there? What values are going to keep you in line, right? So you're not going to cross any ethical barriers, those kind of things. Then what are the people that you're surrounding yourself with? Who are your shareholders? Listen, it's cliche, but it's truth. I guarantee if you look at the people you spend the most time with, the 5 people you spend the most time with, you eat where they eat, you listen to the same music they do, you dress like them, you talk like them, you drink the same beers or wine. I mean, that's just what we do, right? It's funny because I have a 6-year-old daughter, and it's just so apparent in her boyfriend. All the boys in high school, they dress the same. They have the same Bieber haircut. They all listen to the same music. Yeah. They all drive the same trucks. They all, it's all the same things, right? And it's so apparent in high schoolers but it never leaves us. We're always there. So who are you leveling up in your sphere? And then from there, you can then begin to say, okay, now that I have all these pieces in place, how am I learning to work within that? And that comes with having this firefighter mindset. I was told a long time ago, you live your life in 3 states. You're either in a storm, coming out of a storm, or going into a storm. That is life, period. And so you better be preparing today for that storm that you're either in, going into, or coming out of. And every day be a good firefighter. So those are the things that are wrapped up in the book, and they'll have practical exercises around it. And that's what I'm trying to help people find, is that direction for their CEO.
And do you find those are good lessons, and now, so the context of the book makes sense, do you find that that's similar to what people reach out to you for when they look for business advice or coaching advice? Is that the core problem that they're trying to solve, or what other types of coaching do you actually work with people on outside of this CEO work-life balance?
Sure. And so it's, you know, coaching is so interesting to me is because it, I guess the easiest way to say it is everybody that I coach already knows what they need to do. We all do. We all know we need to lose weight, or we need to exercise, or we need to do this, or I need to pick up the phone and make those phone calls, or, you know, I need to get my accounting, you know, what everybody knows what they need to do. But what they need is someone to speak that truth into them so they can then release themselves to go do it. And that's really what coaching does. It allows a person to release themselves into what they know they need to do. Because what happens often is we get caught up in this mental chatter, right? We talk to ourselves in our head 4 times more than we talk to a person verbally. So you're having a conversation in your head 4 times more than you're having a conversation with someone else. And so we get lost in that, but sometimes you need that person to have that verbal conversation with, make some accountability, go through that. So that's what I spend a lot of time with people is we first start at what is it that you're not doing that you know you should do? And from there, everything else unravels. We put a plan in place. We execute on that plan. And my normal coaching time is 12 weeks. At the end of 12 weeks, I mean, they've gone way beyond they ever thought they would have been from the beginning.
Thanks for tuning in. If you found this valuable, don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. And if you want to dive deeper into this conversation, check out the links in the description to watch the full episode. See you in the next one.